The year of miracles, and we're believing God's going to do some big things. He's already doing big things in some of our lives, and I'm telling you, you just need to hear the stories of what God is doing. Psalm 77:14, you are the God that you showed everyone what you can do.
Hey, my name is Mark Poland.
I'm Monica Poland.
We're the lead pastors of Discover Church. The idea for Discover Church came to fruition through serving on another person's team. We were actually helping another person launch their church, and we actually served in their children's church. And one of the things that we realized is that sometimes purpose is never revealed until you actually are part of something else that is bigger than yourself.
That was fun. That was tons of kids every Sunday.
Yeah.
We were leading other couples in that actual ministry. So we were working with students who were ages 3 years old up and through high school.
Yeah.
Hundreds of kids every Sunday. And people didn't know us because we were in service. They knew us because we had relationships with their children.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of got to know everyone in that congregation, because we were like, oh, that's so-and-so's mom, or that's Ashley's mom. But it was like we were having this separate party and building these really quality relationships with other couples and other families. And we're like, oh, wow.
Well, my wife would get up for work every day, and she would watch the news, and I would see everything, all of the disturbing things that would happen in the city and around the area. And I literally got up one day and I said, God, when are you going to do something about it? And I really heard God speak to my heart and said, when are you going to do something about it? And I just closed the thing, turned the TV off. I was like, you're not talking to me, right? And a few years later, the best man in our wedding, actually, he's a police officer. He was actually murdered here in the city of Philadelphia. And by the way, I never told Monica what God was working in my heart. And when we went to the funeral, she looked at me and she said, we have to do something about this. And it was literally the same words that God had spoke to my heart. Yeah, and I think it was in that moment that we realized that, man, what if we can help people discover their purpose sooner than later in life, so that people wouldn't waste precious years of their lives. And we just really started chasing after God, and God began to reveal not his plan just for us, but I think his plan for humanity. And we felt that that's what God wanted us to do. So we came back home to this area to launch Discover Church with one simple goal in mind, and that is to help people discover their God-given purpose.
We started coming in 2022. We were kind of looking for a new church home. You know, people start to recognize your face and your name, and you walk in and they're like, oh, hey, Caitlin, hey, oh, how are you doing with this and that? And some of the things that I had shared in small groups. I think that's what I really connected with, is feeling like someone actually really cares about what I'm going through, or just, building my faith and all of that. So I think that's for me.
Piggybacking off of that, we had some challenges initially getting pregnant. And it was kind of right around the time when we did join the church here.
In my small group had kind of was a little bit more shy about opening up about our fertility struggles, but someone else had opened up about theirs, which encouraged me to do so. It's kind of crazy. We both actually got pregnant within 6 months of each other.
Even after now having the baby, I feel like we got the same type of support and love.
Discover is our home, and couldn't see it any other way.
I'm serious till about I would say 6 months ago. I think here, everybody accepts you for who you are and what you got going on. There's no judgment. The best way I could describe it is they take your problems, they put it in an envelope, and they send it express mail straight to Jesus. The prayer and just the people and the camaraderie in this place, it's home. It's really home.
We've been coming to Discover since day one.
Came and walked in, and the big pop-up that said, welcome home, was the first thing I saw. And then at the hospitality table, the coffee cart, Yolanda Warner was there, and I knew her from work. I had worked with her. It just felt really familiar.
A big part of our story is our immediate family. Not only were we not going to church, but our family was not either. So Renee invited them one by one. We actually had a section. We had a family section in the church. So now we have a family that comes here on Sunday. It used to break my heart when I used to think about my grandchildren. I used to think, they'll never know Jesus. I would think, trying to project, if they weren't going to church, how would they ever know? And now they know Jesus, and they'll actually lead the prayer sometimes. They'll lead Sunday prayer. So I can't tell how much that touches my heart.
Before Greg and I got married, we were going to separate churches, right? When we got married, one of the big hopes or prayers that I had was that we would worship together. So when this idea came up, or when Mark kind of approached Greg, this was like an answered prayer for me, a silent prayer that I had, that, you know, we would be worshiping together at church. From the time you drive onto the campus, walking down that long hallway, you can feel it. There aren't any words to describe the feeling you get from being at Discover Church. You just have to experience it.
It's our home.
Yeah.
Kind of simple as that. It's been our home for years. Our daughter grew up here. My sister's here, her mother's here, our family is here. So Discover Church has been our family as long as we've been around.
I sent her out every single Sunday
I tried my best.
to look for a church.
We even had the question, did we hear God at some point? But going to find a church was important because we knew that's our foundation, and we knew our boys needed that as well. And like, God, what do you want us to do? Where are we? We feel alone, we feel alone.
I remember I met this pastor in the airport like 2 years ago. I said, let's go check it out. So we went and we saw Pastor Mark was there. And so I walked out and he says, hey, I remember you. And I was like, you don't remember me. This was 2 years ago. And at that point, I think it's important to say that I was tussling with God. Sometimes you go through those seasons where you just feel forgotten. If he can remember me exactly, then God, I know you have not forgotten me. And I looked at him, I said, what's my name? And he says, Andre Jones. And I said, and I almost broke down in tears because for me, it spoke to me. Yeah, that was it, that God had not forgotten about my family and I. And we were feeling broken at that point, and we just needed to be healed. And man, Discover was the place that allowed not just me and my wife, but my 3 kids to be healed and totally restored. It's just amazing what God has done. This is home.
This is home.
This is home. This is home.
This is home.
Is home. The first thing I'll say that in the last 5 years, we've moved 27 times. And it's just really hard to build stability if you constantly move, and God's been faithful. But I think this building represents more than just us having a church home and a place for people to come. I think it's a place where generation will be impacted. We look forward to being able to impact the next generation. And so we see this as a hub, a ministry hub, a community hub where life gets to be shaped and we get to impact this entire region.
When I think of home, I think of a place that someone can identify you on the map. Like, I need to get to Discover Church. I need to find that group of people that gather. I need to find community. And they won't have to search for us in different places or in different buildings anymore. We'll be a dot or a place on the map that they can come to.
So in the season that we're in right now, this is home. And here's how you can join us. We're calling this PLOW. PLOW, where I'm a preacher.
PLOW.
PLOW, you can pray. You ought to pray about how God wants you to be involved. Maybe he's calling you to join our team. Maybe he's calling you to be a part of our church. Maybe he's calling you to give financially toward our mission to acquiring this facility. And so what's the L for? Because after you pray, you ought to listen. Listen for what God speaks to you. He may speak to you in your heart. He might speak to you through his word. He may even speak to you through other people. And then you want to use the O, and the O means obey. Just follow through what God has told you to do and be obedient. And then finally, the W is for watch what God does, not only in your life, but watch what God does in the life of Discover Church and for people around this region. You have an opportunity to be a part of changing lives forever.
For eternity.
For eternity and beyond.